Hello. This is just fine. So, I have a day off of work, and with that, I decided, along with Brillian, to do something a little extra. So there's a lot of complaints about Laura. And as a Mika player, I hear a lot of them because people generally consider Laura the Season 2 Mika. And, well, honestly, both characters aren't as dubious as people claimed them to be. And the reason why they have these sorts of complaints is partially because of how random they feel, or 50-50, however you want to put it. But really, both of them rely heavily on meaties and basic sequences. This is probably why they frustrate people so much. But so today, we're going to be using Laura due to the way she's basically structured and played to be our example for how to go about thinking on how you want to create a bot. So the first matter of business, obviously, is to come up with, well, slot number 1. We have a video that will be coming out on the basics of how to create a bot, but this is more later on, but this is more about how to think about making a bot. So, basically, what I'm going to do first is try to figure out what I feel is the most frustrating yet predictable thing that she does to get pressure. So, that's the question I pose to any of you watching and myself at the moment is, you know, what do I find about Laura that I find gives her the most pressure for the easiest amount of effort? What do I see Laura's do that causes me to feel pressured? And honestly, the obvious thought is, well, this son of a bitch. Probably shouldn't swear as much as I do. Anyway. How often I have seen Laura's V skill used to get in, to ruin everybody's day. It's kind of countless given I am friends with a Laura player and I have the misfortune of having to face them so frequently. So, there's nothing hard for Laura about this move. It's an overhead, so if the person is crouch blocking, they're going to hit. And if the person is particularly far away, it's very hard to interrupt this. There are moves that can interrupt it, of course, but generally not so much. Generally it will hit you in or trade. And honestly, the trade isn't that horrible of one. I mean, this does a decent amount of damage. It's not like buckets full, but 80 damage and the opponent really can't do anything afterwards to me? Well, anyway. The reason why this move is such a big deal is it's involved in a lot of her setups and pressure strings. So I'm thinking here and I'm going, well, the other benefit to this move as a person trying to make a bot is there's a lot of time in this move. It takes at least like a full, what, second? That's a lot of time to hide in a lot of stuff. So what else does she do that we can give with this move? Heck, we don't even need to do the move in full. So I know her dash throw, that seems to get people a lot as well. And between the two, a lot of stuff can happen. So this, her sunset wheel, also has a lot of frame animation, and therefore can also hide in a lot of stuff. So my current thought here, while not the best of them, is okay, I know this frustrates people a lot, I have a lot of frames, and I know this frustrates people. So why don't I hide a dash command throw in this? So another thing that right, so as William pointed out, both of these are pretty unsafe. And they're slow. So, both are used for closing in. Let's see here. I personally feel pressured by Laura when she closes in, because then she has lots of other options. But the closing in itself is probably not the pressure. So that is my own mental bias from the way I end up playing against Laura. So that's the sort of thing you need to be careful about. So what... Let's look at Laura again here and think about other things. Gotta get my frame data app open. That'll speed this up a little bit. So yeah, this is obviously not going to be too polished or anything, and there's going to be lots of stopping, and I'm going to sound kind of boring most of the time. But this is more so to give you an idea of how long it takes us to make this sort of thing, for example. And to give you an idea of just how long and how reasonable of time it takes, really is a genius when it comes to this sort of thing. So that's why I'm doing it, because I'm not the most intelligent person on the planet when it comes to creating complex AI in a fighting game. But you know, we all have our strengths. Alright, so forward heavy punch is -2. So that's actually pretty good. But it's also another closing in type move, because it's not really Laura's turn when it's -2. So that's not a pressure move. And we're still looking for pressure here. Now the obvious answer would be, well, what about her lights? But there you go. So standing leg kick is apparently 4 frames, although it doesn't feel it to me. And is +3 on block. So it looks like her light buttons, unless I'm just really bad, don't really combo into much. But if you think about it, Laura doesn't actually have that many special moves. At least ones that are meant for comboing. A lot of them are built for getting in or setting up a meeting. In fact, the only one that I think that isn't is her lightning bolt. And that's to keep you at bay, set up meaties, anti-fireball, all sorts of tactical things. But the pressure that comes from this move only happens on wake up. So if I was going to include her fireball in the first one, I would probably want to hide it in something. I would want it to happen on a knockdown. So I would want to make sure that the knockdown has happened, and that if one plays into one, or maybe I want to stick it somewhere else. Maybe I want one to play into something else. But I do know that I want the repetition to involve Mika here getting knocked down, and then Laura throwing a fireball of some strength. I'm not really a Laura expert here, so if you're not a Laura player and you're trying to make your own Laura bot, you would probably need to look up some frame data as well, and maybe learn a little bit more about the character, how the character works. But that's part of training in a fighting game too. You know, reading all those things and watching how a character works. or testing out the character yourself even, although that takes a lot more time. All of those are ways to learn about your opponent just as much as it is about how you need to handle them. So, in this case, I have two people who are fairly knowledgeable about Laura, so I'm not going to worry about it too much, but I'm also not completely unfamiliar with it. Ooh, was that a combo? That was a combo. So I'm going to say that Light Punch into Light Bulb is probably the easiest thing I see here that feels like a true pressure move so far. And Light Bolt is -2, so it's safe, although not necessarily her turn. But the problem with that so she ends up pretty close. I'm pretty sure this is throw range for most characters. But the stun on it is a little weird. So it's definitely your turn, but unless you have practiced against this move, you might get a little thrown off. So, if I were the Laura, in order to continue my pressure, I'd probably want to be ducking, because against some characters whose throw ranges may not be so good, like Ryu or Chun-Li, or even Karin, I think. No, Karin's is okay-ish. But you get the picture. People with small throw ranges. If you crouch, you may not necessarily be exactly where Laura wants you to be. Or where... Anyway. I confused myself. But, basically, what I was trying to get at is... if Laura crouches, and you have a bad throw range, and you try to throw her, she won't necessarily get thrown depending on where you are, because crouching shrinks your throw box a little bit. Not a huge amount, so it's not a big deal, but Laura also has a bunch of good pressure buttons from crouching. Wait, really? Why do I have so much trouble when people are crouching then for throwing? Because I feel like for getting my daydream throw, I can only get that if I'm like right next to them, but for my normal throw I don't really need to be that close. Yeah. Well, learn something new, I guess. Well, her standing light punch is only 3 frames, apparently. So that would chain, yeah. The bolt is +2 on hit. The light punch version, I mean. And then she can do the fun things like throw you, or command throw you. Looks like her standing medium kick is 5, so if that chains into... oh, crouching medium punch. I know that combos into things. All right. So she could keep looping the bolt. That's an option. She could even keep looping the light punch into light bolt to keep it safe from people who want to throw her. Who should be on the inside? Oh, 2 LP, okay. Nope. Okay. I'm gonna do it this time. Or not. Nope, forgot the light punch. So not perfect, but yeah, let's cut out the delay there a little more. Does this look right, Brilliant? Okay. I'm pretty sure she does. But since we're replacing all of these anyway... Yeah. So it looks like she does indeed need to walk forward just a little bit. It's not playing. Oh, it is playing. Cool. That should probably work for what you were thinking about, I think. Nope, didn't get the bolt in. Yeah, I'm mentally confirming the throw still. Right, so mentally confirming something, it's basically this. So when you do a move, your character makes a sound, has an animation, but a lot of the frames for the startup, before you can actually recognize that the move happened, are required to be pressed in order to do certain things. You're required to like act before then. Canceling a move, it basically requires you to not do this in a lot of instances. There's some cancels are very generous, but this, for example, I had to do the EX Peach right as I did the heavy punch. The confirm is fairly early. If I wait to see that the heavy punch was there, then I'm not going to really make it. So it's kind of like a Rekka, but not really. When you do that sort of thing, the timing is similar. But what you're basically doing in that instance, when you're doing a cancel, is you're not really waiting for the move to finish. You're not waiting to see if the move happens so that you can continue the combo. This is a problem when you're doing bot creation in a lot of instances, because if you hesitate even a little bit, the bot will be too slow. So even this Laura here is a little slow, and you can see that my controls were not the best. They were pretty close though. But generally, you have to both be clean, but also be prepared. You need to mentally just let go of the traditional feeling that you may have of, oh, in order for this move to come out. Well, actually, meaties are another good example, just like canceling a move. In order to do a meaty, you need to dash, right? Dashing, though, happens only on very specific timing. You have to have the two forward or backward inputs in at a very precise time. But what happens for a lot of people is because there's a lot of dead space between your command throw and the person waking up. There's going to be delays in when you dash. You can mash this, but especially if your meaty requires multiple dashes, you're gonna have that add up. Like even here, so you can see for me, I'll turn her off for a sec. You can see for me that my dashes come out fairly slowly, at least for the first one. The second one is okay, but that's at least 3 frames I've dropped right there. And if you're trying to do a perfect meaty, it ain't gonna cut it. So this Brimstone meaty, for example, is basically a perfect frame meaty. Slide has really long frames, really long active frames, so you'll be okay some of the time, but it depends where you lost your space. If you lost it in the beginning here, then your move might come out too late, and then you'll get punished because it's starting up, because Slide has a really long startup. In some cases, mental confirming can cause you to do something early because you're trying to overcompensate. But in that overcompensating, you're relying on the same physical cues. Or at least different ones, in order to know when it's okay. So mental, that is what we're talking about when we're talking about mental confirming. It's waiting for the move to come out in order to do the next action. Yeah, because I think Laura's ability to close in is probably one of her best strengths. So, or at least one of the things that frustrate me the most about playing against her. Cool. Weird. I see. So you specifically have to not hit forward in order for this to work. Interestingly, I have no idea. I have no idea how she gets the forward one. I see. Okay. Interesting. What a weird V skill. Did I? There you go. That should fix it. I think so. So maybe we should replace it with our standing one? That's a 3-frame too, so it can stop any throwing situations. So it might be a little better in terms of pressure. Don't you need to... Isn't bolt quarter forward circle punch? Wouldn't that be what it is? Or did you not want the extra crouching punch? Oh, I see. Okay, well that makes more sense. That's something I probably would not have figured out myself. Okie dokie. Oh man. So it should be producing a light bolt, right? So this is wrong still? Well, let's see here. No, I definitely have quarter circle there. It just must not have been ended early enough. For the first one, and then for the second light punch, do one light punch. Or make both of them standing light punch. Looks like I wasn't quick enough. I guess. The outputs are pretty clean though, so... Do you just have to be really fast with negative edge stuff? Or edge shifting, I'm sorry. Well, wiped it. Oops. Nope, accidentally hit heavy punch. Nope, not quite, although let's see if the leniency was friendly at all. I don't think so. Alrighty. No. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, what? Six, 1, 2, 3, 4, huh? Pretzels? Alright. Oh, okay, that's easier. No, I think the accidental medium punch ruined it. Alright. How about that? Doesn't look like it's doing anything though. Do you need the extra 6 after the light and medium punch? Maybe that's why it is. Because if three loops into itself, it should be doing command throw. Nope. I would have not expected Thunderclap to come out, but eh. Oh, there's an extra medium punch there. You have to almost piano the, well, it's not really pianoing since it's the same button, but you almost gotta mash the light punch after the throw. Oh, I'm not. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's definitely true. And it's why these take so long and why you really just gotta be compassionate to yourself, really. Fighting games are pretty finicky things to begin with. Oh, I'm not supposed to do light and medium punch? Oh no, see what happened was the medium punch and the medium punch light punch are so close together that it alternates between doing the EX and doing the medium bolt. No, it's just that they switch between each other. The EX definitely comes out sometimes. Which is honestly kind of cool, but see? Just came out right then. Let's see. Well, if she's looking to pressure, I think she should have a little more forward movement than she does. Because a lot of Laura's stuff does push her out quite a bit. A lot of the pressure I remember from Laura is from her meaties. And her overhead, making her able to both close in space while also making you pay attention to where you're blocking. Yeah, I'm just so used to Laura's who use their specials to close in and then do their meaties after they've closed in, because lots of her moves are knockdown. Right. I mean, even now you can see that I'm not really taking that much damage. So, does Laura even have pressure strings? Mostly Bolt and her V skill, I guess. Right. No, not at all. What I don't know about Laura from a character knowledge level, though, is I don't know if she even has block strings. Now that I think about it, I don't think so. Her moves push her out quite a bit. Like... That's a lot shorter range than I thought it was. So let's link that with 3, maybe? So in theory, we should be getting a bolt here, right? Success, I think. So then... I don't think I quite understand how the medium kick helps. Let's see here. -2 on block, +3 on hit, 5-frame startup. Oh, I see. No, I got counter hit. Pretty hard. There you go. Yeah, now I'm mentally confirming the kick again. See, that's the other reason you need to be careful about when you're mentally confirming something. Because it makes block strings a lot more effective against you if you wait for their move to register it to hit. Like hitting you and then going, oh, did I get hit just now? That's a whole extra step. But if you let go of trying to confirm it perfectly and allow yourself to just act a little bit more. You can get out of a lot more pressure than you would otherwise. This also involves being a little confident in your buttons and what the opponent's gonna do, but characters only have so many options and only so many block strings. There's only so many safe moves that they can do at certain ranges, and if the opponent themselves is one that you know is gonna go for the block string, that's all the more reason not to get caught up in figuring out if they hit you or not. Just assume yes and throw out your 3-frame. Right. I see Laura more of a threat as a get-in character than I do a pressure character. But people complain about Laura's pressure pretty strongly. This is mostly because her meaties are really strong. But her meaties are just the reward for her getting in on you. she wouldn't be a good character if she didn't have good meaties. Or some option that came in that's relatively high damage. Alrighty. Let's see here. Laura Medes. Well, she definitely gets Medes off of Sunset. Alright. Oops. OS5 on. There you go. No, I think the edge shifting is not at the right part. So, refining that a little bit then, unless Rillian says otherwise. There you go. There you go. Instant Laura meaty. No, I don't think it worked out. I think her standing like kick is a low as well, though. So maybe we could... Oh, it isn't? Okay. Nope. So let's see how this goes. Right. I mean, she doesn't do her forward, is it? Heavy punch, but that's not really something I'm scared of, really. Just something that I see online Laura do. Maybe not. Maybe not. I think the reason why online Laura would scare me personally is because I'm used to having to play so defensively. And she's very good at keeping out of my range, while also being really good at getting in. I have the same problem against Karine. They're both very good at staying in the back and then suddenly coming in close and throwing me off of my defenses. But that's more so a function of me being scared to begin with, I think. And silly things like that as well. Her EX bolt, the way her armor works, is kind of frustrating, especially since it ends in a knockdown that sets up her melee pressure. You cut off after her relatively easy. Which I would agree with. She's not very defensive at all. Right. And that's mostly a function of the way we recorded that one, to make the edge shifting easier on me personally. Yeah, I think so. In a smoother input, she would be able to command throw you fairly quickly after that, which is the main thing that we were aiming to have that represent. For any of our new viewers around here, if you have any ideas about what frustrates you about online Lauras that you don't see in our current training bot, let us know. Her defense is low, as we've noted, so we might need to fix that somehow right after the fireball, but yeah. And honestly, that's what Laura is, isn't she? She's just a big wall of normals. She does seem to have blocking in here, though. So that's good. Yeah, she can keep you outspaced pretty well from that range. I think that my own personal problem with people in general in this game is when they try to stay away from me. So the whole game makes a lot more sense to me when they're actually coming at me, trying to exert pressure, making me look for openings. All that stuff makes complete sense to me. My confusions and difficulties come up when they don't. So this Laura bot, she has a lot of pressure once she's in, and she can handle herself when she's out. I have to be very exacting of when I whiff punish her, or I'll get hit. But generally, no, I don't find her stressful at all. And I normally hate the Laura matchup. So I don't technically see anything missing other than the fact that she's just behaving differently than all the other Lauras I face. But the reason that happens isn't the moves she's doing. She's doing all the same things. Real people online just have slightly more meaties and can play footsies, but the behavior itself is definitely like their outcome is different. And as long as I try to get in on Laura, I'll probably have a bad day. I probably am better off trying to interrupt her pressure somehow. At least from a personal standpoint. And I don't think that sort of thing is something you can replicate on a bot. Even on a CPU, their AI in this game doesn't really do footsies or people hanging in the back very much. And if they do, it's obviously flawed because they're sort of just being a dud. So in that sense, I would say that it's a lot harder to make a bot that has people who aim to frustrate, sort of. But on the other hand, if you get familiar with the characters and all their stuff, and you learn how to handle some of the pressure situations and block situations that happen, you can deal with the frustrating people from there. The people who aim specifically to play with the goal of frustration, I mean. But the people who like hanging in the back, they aren't necessarily aiming to do that either. They just don't want to engage because it's safe. And they also want you to engage first, or try to, because that leaves you open a lot for lots of pressure. But from what I understand, at higher levels of the game, this stops being a real viable tactic in the way it's done at lower levels, because you simply just... Being offensive in this game is strictly better than being defensive. They have a lot more options for being defensive. Or offensive, I mean. And you can put on some pretty heavy pressure. And that pressure puts the opponent in situations where, well, they're definitely at a little disadvantage, even if it's escapable. So I see a lot more of the ranges people dance at are ranges where you can hit the person, but you're choosing not to for whatever reason. Waiting to punish the other person for hitting the button first, or trying to get a slightly better positional advantage to do whatever move you're planning on, making the other person nervous. Those are all things I understand, but those are things that happen at like this range. This range here. This is where I'm used to people where I feel they should be, more or less. But what I'm more used to is like back here, where you have to close in order to do something for the match to continue. So if I pretend in my mind here that I need to stay away from the lore that far, and I then try to also be offensive, the game feels a lot more like what happens. Okay. Weird, it looks like one doesn't even happen. Oh, there you go. It looks like the, it looks like it didn't get ended properly. It looks like the walk back isn't long enough. Ah, I see. Darn. So it looks like action 4. Right, exactly. Well, Jury can definitely out-normals her, for sure. So overall, this bot, and Laura in general, really, this doesn't seem, because of all the things Laura uses to get in are unsafe, and Juri's relatively long normal buttons. I'm fairly sure that Laura can't really do much to Juri other than to maybe surprise her. Yeah, for sure. And honestly, come to think of it, I don't think I've ever had that much trouble with the Laura Juri matchup. For normals, just let her keep Laura out, and Laura's normals let Juri keep her out. Yeah, but as we were mentioning earlier, Laura's not really capable of surprising too much. It's more so that all of her close-in options are sudden. That's not really the same as surprising. When she gets you in a meaty situation, then you probably have some surprises, but even that's sort of formulaic in a way. But yes, basically, it would become a war of who can use their normals better. Which is pretty accurate in my own online experience with Juri. Juri only runs into a little issue when she's faced with people with better hitboxes than her. But Laura's aren't ecstatically better. But it's more so that Laura's just completely unsafe, while Juri is usually pretty safe. She has very few normals that are unsafe on block. And I think Juri also has the edge in being slightly longer reaching in general. Anyway, so overall it took us about 2 hours to make this bot. And honestly, it took us a bit of character knowledge in general, looking into how frustrated we get with certain things. This is obviously like a rough draft, nowhere near perfect, but the concept is what we were mainly focusing on today. And in the process, learning a little bit about Laura, and learning about what makes her not as terrifying as one would expect at first. So, since I have stream in about an hour and a half from now, and this was more so supposed to be a short little thing, I'm going to be signing off for the next hour and a half, and we'll be back up at 7. 7 Eastern Standard Time. So this is Just Fine, signing out.